right? Chalo, let's jump on. What did we discuss in the last class? Completed? Easy, no? Okay. Okay, so Maven was the last topic, and then I told you what is Maven, what's the purpose of it, what are the things that it contains, what are the important components of Maven, and what are the stages that it has in stages, that meaning goals of Maven, right? Can you tell me what are the goals? Maven, validate, compile, test, install, package, right? Deploy. Okay. So these are the things that we have learned, and then also VCTPID, right? Yeah. So validate, right, and then compile, test, package, install, deploy, and the last one is clean. Yeah. So, and also I hope that you have launched EC2 instances, you installed Maven, right, and you have purpose, right? Good. So whatever that you have done is manual or not? Whatever that you have done is manual thing. Now let me tell you first. Let me put it in the paint here. What were we doing before? That meaning before. I mean, you know, right? Okay, let's not have any suspense. What is today's topic? Jenkins. Okay, I don't want to say that, but I already told you in the last class. But the thing is, let me tell you before Jenkins, after Jenkins. What we were doing before Jenkins, and after Jenkins came, what we are doing with the Jenkins, we'll see. So now the topic is before Jenkins, few years before Jenkins. So before Jenkins, what happens is, you know this already. Yeah. You know, first we have Agile methodology. Remember Agile methodology? Are we using here are we using waterfall model, or are we using Agile model? Agile model, right? Remember Agile model. And in Agile model, again, DevOps is derivated from the Agile model only, right? So in Agile model, and also in our overview, we learned about a little bit of Scrum also. Remember Scrum? Right? So we learned about the Scrum, what is Scrum Master, what is PO, product owner, what are the difference between all these things, what these guys will be doing, what is the job of Scrum, what he'll be doing every day, what the users will be doing, and what is the tool that we use to track all the tasks. Which tool was that? Jira. Which one? Jira. So Jira is the one which we use, and also Trello. It's that in real time, Trello will not be followed as a very major thing, but Jira is the one which we'll be using for the main purpose in real time. So in the Jira, what they do is this Scrum Master create the task for every developer or every team member, right? And then this Scrum Master will take the updates, follow on each and every employee, and get the updates, and will be updating to the PO, that means product owner. That was the Scrum methodology that we have learned already, Scrum model. And inside that, there is also something called Kanban. Say that? Kanban. So Kanban, very less, I don't say that less people will be using it, but the actual model of the Kanban is, Scrum model is meaning what? Scrum model meaning, Scrum Master will create the task, each task will be assigned to the team member, and team member will be working on that, and team member will be updating everything in the task. And then Scrum, you have how many sprints you have? Let's say sprint concept, right? 2 weeks, 1 sprint. In this sprint, they'll use the Scrum model, and collection of sprint we call it as release. This entire model will be doing in that Scrum process. Whereas in Kanban, we don't use this process. What we do is we put a to-do list. What's that? Just to-do list. And then we have something in progress and completed. That's it. Put the to-do list, and whichever the one that you want to do, drag it to in progress, complete it, and then complete. That's it. No time frame, nothing. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. So it is just like a Kanban where you don't have a particular fixed date to work on the task. Whereas in Scrum, we have fixed dates. Every 2 weeks we need to release the sprint or not. So for that reason, definitely we need to use that model for Scrum model. But here in Kanban, what people do is, let's say for example, support people are there. What's that? Support. Let's say I want to install, let's say you want to set up 10 EC2 instances. Do you need sprint for that? Do we need sprint for that to launch 10 EC2 instances? Huh? I know what developers will be doing it, because I know what developers will do. As a product owner, I know if the product owner is technical, he will give the task to the people, and then the task will be completed within 1 day. But what developer will do, you know? Developers online, online with their experience, 2 or 3 points will give for one task. They will give at least 3 to 4 days. They will say that, oh, we need this much time to work on this task, but actually the task is only for 1 day only. What they'll be doing for the rest 3 days? I know these people, right? Anyone there like these people online here, right? So they will be doing like this, like, you know, they'll be. I will not be saying that they are wasting the time, but there are some people where they'll say, actually, the job will be finished within 1 day, but they'll give us 3-4 days time on each task. But whereas, let's imagine, we want to launch instance. If I'm developer, what I'll do? I'll give 3 days for this. Today I'll be launching 3 EC2 instances. Tomorrow I'll be launching 3 more EC2 instances. Tomorrow I'll be launching 3-4 more EC2 instances. So what? You understand? So do we need Scrum model for these kind of activities? In that case, then go for Kanban board. Which board? Kanban. There is also one more model, and which we'll be using in the real time. Okay, fine. So when you get the project, either you can use the Scrum model or you can use what in a Kanban model. Okay, we have the developers here. So what the developers will do? Developers will do the code or not? So developer will be doing the code, and you know very well where they will push it. GitHub. Very good. So developers will be doing the work, and what they do now, they'll put it into the GitHub. So can I call it as SCM? What is SCM? Source code management. And can you also call it VCS? Yes or no? What is VCS? Version control system. Remember this? Okay. So which is the source code management, or which is the version control system that you guys are using? This is how the questions will be. So what is that here? GitHub. So we'll use GitHub, and you can also use what is that? Bitbucket, and you also use what? There are so many out there. So what these guys will do is, developer, what they do, they will commit the code. Where they'll commit the code into the GitHub or SCM. You know this. You already did this. What's the next stage? I'm talking about before Jenkins. So what developer will do is, developer will write a lot of code and they'll push it to the GitHub. Now build will be done by which team? Build team. Previous step, separate for building purpose, there will be a build team. There will be a build team. So what this developer will do is, so these developers, they'll commit the code in VCS and they'll say, my code is ready, I build team, go ahead and then start building it. What they do? They build the code. And what we do in that here, which is we'll use multiple tools, but what we do here, we compile or not? We compile the code, and what we do? We integrate with existing code. Yes or no? Whatever the code they develop, we will integrate it. And what we do? We build code, we compile it, we build it, and we create what? Artifacts. Yes or no? What's the artifacts that we are using? Var file, exe file, ms file, etc. All this will come under what? Artifacts. So all these things will be done by whom? Build team. And this is bloody manual. Yes or no? What we did yesterday, manual or not? Manually we validated, manually we compiled, manually we tested, manually we packaged, manually we installed, manually we deployed, manually we cleaned. Is it good to do this manually every time? Whenever the developers has pushed the code to GitHub, and will you be there manually running all these commands? So previously they used to do this manually, and after this we have so-called testing people. Yes or no? And by the way, this build team, what they do? They'll pull the code or not? What's the command? Git pull. What's the command? What in git pull and git fetch? So git pull interview questions. Okay, let me do one thing. I'll prepare interview questions for you only on Git. I'm expecting something. Okay, so what I do is give me some time. So I already have it. So what I do, I'll create some GitHub only Git related questions, right? And then I'll put it, and then you'll be thorough on those things, so that you'll be so practicals. Okay, what I understood from you here is based on these days journey, you are very good in technical. Then you have completed the practicals and everything. But whenever we ask the question, you know the answer, but you don't know how to deliver it. That's the problem you're facing, right? So how to resolve that? I'll give some interview questions on Git. So practice those kind of wordings, so that will be helpful. So now I ask you, what is the difference between git fetch and then git pull? So git pull will get the entire data that will be updated in your working tree. But whereas git fetch will update your working tree, it will show only the changes. So these wordings that you should be using it. When do you get it? If you start practicing it. Okay, no problem. Okay, so they will pull the code and then build team. Of course, git clone. Yeah, git clone also. What the git clone will do? Copy of the remote repository. Very good. So after this, what these people will do is next. Which team is there? Testing team. Which team? Testing. So, build team, and then what here? Tester team. And what this test team will do? They'll do all the manual testing. Yes or no? So they will write test cases. What they write? Test cases. They'll be doing manual testing also. They might be doing automation testing also. So here there are type of testings. Do you know? See the magic. No magic. Okay. So hold on. So instead of writing what we do, can you see my screen? What paste is not working? Okay. Can you see my screen? Online? So I did this magic for you. Tell me, in DevOps they will teach. No, right? So to give you more information, I collected this nice, simple definitions of different types of testing, so that my students, meaning you, in front of the testers also, if they are talking about any testing, you should not be opening the mouth and then saying, watching or listening what they are talking about. No. So I'll just be explaining here what are the different types of testing that we commonly use. Say that, read it. Unit testing, smoke testing, regression testing, functional testing, user acceptance testing. So here, unit testing meaning, see, I wrote in a very normal language only. So it's a type of software testing where if you wrote some Java program, and that Java piece of code program is working or not, will be tested by whom? Tester or developer? You write a Java program, small Java program. That program is working or not will be tested by tester or developer? Tester or developer? Okay, let's do one thing. I wrote A is equal to 3, B is equal to 3. A plus B is equal to, I wrote C is equal to A plus B. These are small code I have written. I saved it. And do I need to give to developer? Please do testing. Like A plus B, should I get 6? Or a developer will do this? Developer will do. So unit testing will be done by who here? Developer only. Many people doesn't know. They'll confuse between this, right? So unit testing meaning is a type of software testing where individual units like any function, method, class, or any component of a program are tested in isolation to verify they work as expected. So mostly unit testing will be done by whom? Developers. Next is smoke testing. What is that? Don't think smoke testing means they'll put a smoke. Okay? So after build happens, what is that? After build happens or after software update happens, to make sure that all critical functionalities are working or not, they will check. When after the software has been updated. That is called what testing? Smoke testing. Regression testing meaning whatever the recent code that you have modified. Let's say in your code you have added a new line. What happens is in real time, this n number of times with my developer teams, they will add a new feature. I will be very happy that new feature they have introduced, it's working super. But because of the new feature, my old feature is not working. My old feature is not working. So whether it is working or not, my old features, new features, everything do have any impact on my old features, that everything is called what kind of testing is that? Regression testing they do. What testing? Regression testing. So functional testing. That you said, what is functional testing? You heard somewhere functional testing, right? So functional testing meaning here, whatever the functionality of the application. Okay, now you unlock the phone. You unlock the phone, yes or no? What is the functional testing meaning? If you click on unlock, it should unlock. That is the function. So that is called functional testing. If you're unlocking it and it is playing the songs, is that expected one? Functional testing failed. So that is what called here functional testing. And then finally, what we have here is UAT. User, as the name clearly says, user acceptance testing. That meaning who is the user? Customer, right? Whatever the Bhayanak code that you have developed, the product finally will be tested by whom? Customer. So called pre-prod is there, no? Or that environment also called UAT environment. What is that? UAT meaning what? User testing. Okay. So if the customer is testing your product, then that testing is called user acceptance testing. So these are all the major important testings that you should know at least. But do you worry about how they are doing this testing? How do they do the testing? It is done by whom? testers. They'll do manual testing, automation testing, they're using Selenium, JUnit, right? Whatever the testing tools they use, let them use. We are not doing it. But this will be done by whom? Tester. If something goes wrong, then okay. Now testing team found some nasty bugs. Can you tell me? Will they send to build team? Will they send to developers? Yes, they'll be sending to developers. Okay, saying that, hey Babu, that particular testing is failed. So please recheck fix the code. Right. So here we call it as test results. What's that? Results or reports will be sent by whom to the developers. Is it clear? Online is clear. Whatever that you are seeing here, everything is manual or automatic. Manual or automated. Manual or not. Here in this, do we need to really worry about the testing team here? As a DevOps engineer, we will. What we do? Smells the code. What we do? We smells the code. So smelling the code. So which tool will smells the code? Loader. SonarQube. Which one? SonarQube. Yeah. All right. So this is before Jenkins. Before Jenkins meaning here, everything is manual. So developers they'll push the code in the GitHub, and this build team will pull the code from the GitHub, and then manually they build everything, all the goals, all the stages, and then they'll send to testing. Testing will do either manual test cases or automated test cases, and then when they find any bug, they will send it to the developers. Everything is here manual, especially from all this till here is completely manual. Is that good? Answer is not good. So what we need? We need automation. Automation with whom? Jenkins. So whatever the phases that you have here, what phases? GitHub, that meaning your SCM, code phase, build phase, test phase, everything should be done automatically. Everything should be done what? Automatically. So definitely there should be a tool to do this automatically or not? Or will you do any kind of mantra and then there should be some tool, right? So which is the tool? Jenkins. And which is the tool integrating all these phases? Jenkins. Which one? Jenkins. Okay, fine. So now same thing, I'll take it. So okay, so here I'm taking, but we'll not be having any build teams anymore separately. Okay, so developers as usual, they commit the code to where? SCM or VCS. And then can you tell me who will be pulling the code now? Can you tell me who is pulling the code now? Developer job is to push the code to the GitHub. And then who is the guy who's pulling the code here? Which tool? If you say Maven, that will go to again the manual process. Jenkins. Who is that? Jenkins. So here, who will get here? Jenkins. And Jenkins will be doing what here? CI, CD. So what the Jenkins will do now? Jenkins will pull the code from the GitHub repository, and what it does? It will start building it. What it's at? Building it. So build it. What we need to do is we need to configure Jenkins jobs. Say that. Jenkins job. So job need to create it. What we need to create in Jenkins? Jobs. Say that. Oh, say that. What is that? Jobs. What we create? Jobs. And then use Maven to what purpose? Maven to build purpose. And Maven, what does it do? It will compile the code. And then what it will create? It will create the artifacts. And all these things will be done right automatically or manually? Yes, it is automatic. Getting it? So whenever this developer push the code here, automatically what this Jenkins will do? Jenkins will pull the latest code every time. It will, whenever someone push code, they will commit it to the GitHub. They'll push the code to the GitHub. Whenever there is a change in the GitHub, automatically what the Jenkins will do? Jenkins will automatically pull the code, and what it will do automatically? Build the code and it will compile it and it will create what? Artifact. What is the artifact we are using here? War file. In previous case, what we did, we manually generated the war file or not? But in this case, if we have Jenkins, what do we create in jobs? Say that. What do we create in here? Jobs. So we create jobs in Jenkins, and then that we will configure something in Jenkins. We call it as pipeline. What we configure? So we configure the pipeline in Jenkins. We'll tell in the pipeline, hey pipeline, first to go and get the code from GitHub, and then hey Maven, build it and keep the artifacts ready. Keep the artifacts ready. And after this, you know, right? After this, which is the tool that which for test purpose? SonarQube. So here that is not our okay. So what is the next thing here? What we have here? SonarQube. What does SonarQube will do? SonarQube. So it will scan the code or not? It scans the code and it will check any kind of vulnerabilities. It will scan the code. It will check the quality of the code. It will check any kind of issues with the code. Everything will be done by whom here? SonarQube. After the SonarQube, that artifacts need to be stored in where? Excellent. Which tool is that? Nexus. Which tool here? Nexus. So, and this artifacts. And then from Nexus, what we do? We do the deployment. What we do here? Deployment. Where we do the deployment? On AWS. Now, which one? EC2. So on EC2, what is the tool that we need? What is the tool we need to have? Tomcat. Because what is the artifact is generated here? War file. Here. And all these things will be done automatically by Jenkins. So we'll create a pipeline. What we create, we'll create a pipeline where in Jenkins. We'll create a pipeline in Jenkins and we'll say that hey, Jenkins to Jenkins. So in that Jenkins, we have multiple stages. Multiple stages. What are the stages mainly? What we have? Tell me. First stage is we need to pull the code or not. Developers, don't worry much about the GitHub here because all the code will be readily available by the developers in GitHub. Are we responsible to put the code in GitHub? What is our responsibility? Push. Whenever they push the code in GitHub, who need to pull it? Jenkins need to pull. Who need to pull? Once Jenkins pulled automatically, what should happen? Build should happen. So build meaning here, which tool we need to install? Now, this Maven software need to be installed in which server? Jenkins server. Which server? So whenever you set up a EC2 instance, install Jenkins in that. In Jenkins, we are doing all these activities. So Jenkins server need to be in Jenkins server, what we need to install? Maven also there. That's the reason why Jenkins will be able to build it. So Jenkins will pull the code from the repository and then Maven will be called and Maven will go and build it and then that war file will be generated. They'll put it into the Jenkins has a in artifact as artifact. But where is the var file inside the Jenkins only? Jenkins has a in okay Vidit is expressing something. इतना अच्छा explanation कौन करता है ऑफिस में, right? That's correct. That's why. Okay, good. Vidit, thank you. So here Jenkins will integrate, and what Jenkins will pull the code, and then Jenkins will build it. That means with the help of Maven. Maven will build the entire code. What will generate? Var file. When Apache, if you want to put a website, what is the default path that Apache has? What is the default path of Apache? Has that been study like we learned in AWS, we learned in Linux. What is the default directory of Apache? var www html. Yes or no? Huh? Is he white face again? Tell me again. Tell me what is the directory name? var www html 3 times still. Not like that. But this is a assignment for you. Apache default directory is var www html. Say that like this. Next. Next. What is Apache default directory? So our application need to put inside that directory. Then only Apache will. I gave this example. Let's say for example, I want to drink water. How do I drink water? I need to use class. Class is a Apache, and water is like a application. So if I want to drink water, should I put it in the class or should I put it outside the class? Inside the class. So that meaning inside the class meaning here you have to put the water inside the class. Then only you can use it. Here also you have application. If you want to use application, you need to put inside the directory of Apache. Which directory? var www html. Will you forget this next time? Okay. So okay, now similar Jenkins has default directory. What's that? Jenkins has a default directory. So we call it as var lib Jenkins, but var lib what here Jenkins. But don't worry, there is a default directory for the Jenkins. Whatever the Jenkins with the help of Maven it is building, the var file will be inside that default directory. What's that? Var file will be inside that default directory. You getting it? Okay. Now tell me, is it good to keep that var file in the Jenkins server? Just in case if Jenkins server crashed, your var file is also gone. But that reason we'll push separately the var file into Nexus. That is the purpose of Nexus. So when you're doing this code, there should be someone who should smell the code. Sonar cube, and it will check the quality of the code and will check any vulnerabilities of the code. And once the Sonar cube checks, okay, good, then only push it to Nexus. Because Nexus is the guy, and Nexus is the place where the final output should be there. And from that Nexus, so we'll keep it. And then we'll do the what? Deployment. Of course, Jenkins will be doing the deployment. Who will do the deployment here? Jenkins will be doing the deployment. Do you think Nexus will do the deployment here? No. Jenkins will be integrating Sonar cube and then Nexus. And Jenkins will put the file into the Nexus again. Jenkins will go and put the file in what? Nexus. Jenkins will do the deployment. Jenkins will go and put the var process, and the same Jenkins also get integrated with the Sonar cube and get smell or code scan happen. So that's why Jenkins is getting integrated with whom? SEM. Jenkins also getting integrated with Sonar cube. Jenkins also integrated with Nexus. Jenkins also doing the deployment. For that reason, this is called continuous integration server. What's that? Continuous integration server. So called CI server. So mainly the Jenkins will be used for what purpose? Continuous integration purpose. But Jenkins is also doing what? Deployment. But mainly Jenkins we should call it as what? CI server. Don't call it as deployment server. Jenkins' main purpose is what here? CI, not CD. But Jenkins also do what? CD. So now you tell me. So we need to install Maven Sonar cube Nexus in Jenkins. Am I right, sir? Okay, tell me here. I'll install Maven where in Jenkins. Either you can install Sonar cube, Nexus, everything in Jenkins. Is that good? You tell me. Jenkins is the main integration server where it will be integrating with the multiple tools. Is it good to install all the tools in Jenkins? Yes, if you want, you can install it. Overloaded or not? For that reason, what I do is install Sonar cube on separate. EC2. Install Nexus on separate. EC2. Install Tomcat on separate. EC2. And then integrate these multiple servers. For me, if you say, sir, please put everything in one in Jenkins only, so at least 2-3 days work will be, classes will be directed. Because it will be easy for me to show everything in Jenkins. But here integration is important, right? Between multiple servers. How does Jenkins will talk to another EC2 instance also we need to be known, right? For that reason here, we need to have on multiple EC2 instances. Good to have. All I know, is this clear? There is no latency. Latency, okay, now tell me, in this phase, customer is involving in any phase here? When the customer will use it? After the deployment. Is there any latency for the customer? So no worries. So after that, who will use that? Customer will use it. Nice. Okay, deployment I told you it can be done on EC2 or it can be done on Docker, or also it can be done on Kubernetes. So Jenkins can be integrated with Docker also. Jenkins can be integrated with Kubernetes also. Jenkins can also integrate with Terraform also. That is why it is called integration server. Here from build to deployment operation, we are responsible. Who is responsible for all these things, Anna? We are. Who is you? Who are you? DevOps engineer. So if you are doing all these things automatically, how do you do all these things automatically? Using Jenkins. Jenkins, what line? Pipeline. Jenkins, pipeline. So pipeline is the series of stages. Jenkins is a series of stages. Fine. New class? No. I see. Yes, sir. Come, welcome. Okay. Okay, good. Good to see you. What's your name? Snehal. Okay, nice. Good. Okay, Chitty, is it clear, everyone? So this is continuous integration, and this is what? Continuous deployment. What is the difference between continuous deployment and continuous delivery? Huh? The word, what is the word? Manually. What is it is also correct, right? So delivering. So deployment will be done manually when that is called continuous delivery. If your deployment is doing automatically, then it is called continuous deployment. Okay, good. Yes. Is it clear? Any questions? Understood why you need Jenkins now? Fantastic. So now what we do is, so just to not to waste time, I wrote everything. Yeah. Okay. Jenkins. Yeah. So Jenkins is a open source. Jenkins is a open source. It's a free automation tool. So used for what purpose? Continuous integration purpose and continuous what purpose? Deployment. But I said you that Jenkins is mostly used for what purpose? Continuous integration, right? So you can use for continuous deployment also. So whatever the developers continuously generate, write the code, we need to continuously build and test it or not? Will you do it manually or will you do it automatically? So 10 developers will be there. They will be coding in, they're pushing the entire code to the GitHub, and they are not responsible for the build. There should be someone who should be automatically building it, automatically creating war files, automatically test it, automatically deploy it. Who will be doing all these things? We. That meaning Jenkins only. Understood? So for that reason here, continuously build also should happen, continuously test also should happen. This will be continuous. That's why here, so this Jenkins will help you to do continuous build and continuous test. Whereas in Maven, we are doing it manually. That is the reason why we have here Jenkins. That's why I wrote here. See, Maven does the same, but it is manual. To automate, what we need to use? Jenkins. So continuous integration meaning it's a combination of continuous build plus continuous test. Build, test, continuous integration. Before build, what we have code. Does the Jenkins related to code at all? No. For that reason, here continuous integration is the combination of continuous build and continuous test. As I told you before, continuous integration, everything is what process? Manual process. So after CI, everything is automated. So continuous deployment meaning what? Deploying application to production automatically. So continuous delivery meaning manually. As you said, some features I don't want to deploy to my product, but I want my developers to develop it, keep it aside. Whenever I need, I'll go and ask, I'll give the permission, that will go and get deployed. That should be done manually, but it's not the process of here automatic. Okay. I don't want to. Okay, you try to read the name and tell me who is the inventor of Jenkins. Kawasaki. Babani put a nice name, Mr. KK. Why unnecessarily? Use the name KK, no? Kosuke. Say that Kosuke Kawaguchi. Okay. Simply KK. Okay. Now this is the inventor, but we don't really care about this inventor because we'll be using it, right? And but please, in interview, no one will ask. Just in case if someone asks who invented Jenkins, you could say KK. But remember, KK will not Kailash care. Okay, fine. So previously, I still remember when I was in Apple, I used to use Hudson. The previous version of Jenkins was what? Hudson. Say that? Hudson. So when I was in Apple, I was doing some build automations. So we were using Hudson before. People are still using Hudson now. Okay, but that is. Okay, so you can hear me now, right? Okay, fine. So who is the inventor here? Mr. KK. Previously, we call it as what? Hudson. Remember, in interviews also sometimes they use this word called Hudson. So don't worry, Hudson is nothing but here Jenkins. It's a CI server. What's that? CI server. So what is the port number that Jenkins uses? 8080. Tomcat also uses 8080. Apache? Huh? Apache? 80. Apache? 80. Apache? 80. Say that. Apache? 80. Jenkins? 8080. Tomcat? Okay. Huh? Protocol. But Apache will work on the HTTP only, right? HTTP. See, applications can have different port numbers. So the default port number for application is different. For HTTP, it's always 80. Right? Jenkins also it uses HTTP only, but port number is different. Which port number? 8080. Okay, fine. Okay, so please remember, and then for that, definitely Jenkins needs Java. Jenkins is what? Java. So if you want to use Jenkins, first we need to install what? Java, either 11 or latestly 17. So Jenkins is dependable on Java or not? So I told you what is the default path of Jenkins? Var lib Jenkins. Say that. Huh? Var lib Jenkins. What I wrote it here. Var lib Jenkins. 100% important. So what is that here? Var lib Jenkins. So because whatever the jobs that you are executing in Jenkins, all the jobs information will be stored inside this directory. Which directory is this? Var lib Jenkins. And what are the alternative tools of Jenkins here? Bamboo, GoCI, CircleCI, Tarvez, Semaphore, Body, Buildmaster, GitLab, Harness, Argo CD, right? Whereas in cloud, we have code pipeline, Azure pipeline. So I told you, Jenkins is replaced in AWS with code pipeline. So in Jenkins, we create Jenkins pipeline. In code pipeline, we create code pipelines. So very important here, build and deployment process. First, what is the first step? Nana? We need to take the code from the repository. What code we call it as here? Source code. Say that. What is SCM? Source code management. So in Jenkins language, we use called source code. What's that? And developers also say that source code. But we as a developer will say code. But it's good to call it as source code. So use the source code, and then what we need to do? Compile it and then execute the test. But this will not be done by us. Will be taken by the developers and perform the code review. Code review will be done by here, our Sonar Cube, and then package the var file and then deploy into the server. So all these things will be done automatically by whom? Jenkins. So all these can be built and deployment tasks can be automated using what? Nana? Jenkins. So this is the Jenkins theory. Where you understood before Jenkins, after Jenkins? and you should see this. And by seeing this, everything in one shot, you should be able to understand. So I'm giving 1 minute. Please see this entire flow. If you're ready, then we'll go to the next things. Selenium will not be doing it, Bhavani. Selenium will be done by the testers, and that is automation testing tool. It's clear till here. What we do is, without any further delay, let's go and install Jenkins. How to install Jenkins? No. Right? Ranjit, can we store our artifacts in S3? Oh, why not? Put it in Nexus also, put it in JFrog also, put it in S3 also. No issues. No issues. You can put it in S3 also. Just but you need to integrate Jenkins with S3. So AWS related plugins you need to use word called plugin. We'll go slowly one by one. Okay, Ranjit. Okay, so what we do now? Let's go and quickly launch the EC2 instance. But definitely yum install minus Jenkins will not work. So there are multiple things to do it. So we'll install this one by one. Which one will go for? Amazon, Linux 2. So and then what we do? 730. Go with and then launch. Okay, so meanwhile, while it is coming up, what I do is I wrote the steps for you how to install the Jenkins. Let me explain the steps first, and then we'll try to set up while the machine is up. So first, what we need to do now here, set up Jenkins. What we need to do, launch EC2 instance. Which one? Amazon Linux 2. Can you launch other machines also? Of course, but I'm just doing it in Amazon Linux 2. So, and what is the main thing that you need to do? In security groups, allow protocols. But if you have allowed all traffic 00, you don't even see the security group at all. So you'll keep on working it. But in real time, it's not good to allow all traffic for which one? Something is happening. Online, can you hear me still? Okay. It's okay? Yeah. Okay, so I was telling here, let's just launch Linux instance. Which one here? Amazon Linux 2. And in real time, you should always allow the protocols. So what is the port number that you should allow? 8080. Because why we have allowed 8080 here? Because Jenkins will work on port 8080. But if I have allowed all traffic, no issues. Here at the moment, allow all traffic, but in real time, go with only particular port number. So see, I wrote like how I read to set up Jenkins. What we need to do, what the Jenkins will do, Jenkins will take the code from Git and build using Maven. For that meaning, our Jenkins need to, what are the two installations that we need to do on Jenkins server? Git and then Maven. That is the logic. So in the Jenkins server, what we need to do? We need to install. Yes. So we need to install what on here? Git, Maven, and I told you Jenkins works on Java. So these three installations are mandatory in order to Jenkins to work. So what is the command to install? Say that yum install Git, Java, and then Maven -y. So what's the next step? So next step is you need to get the repository of the Jenkins. So what we need to do is here, if you go to jenkins.io, we need to download it or not? So go to jenkins.io. Do you see this here? Click on here, download. Okay, so there are so many flavors are available here. We are going for which one is here? Red Hat. Our Amazon Linux is also here, Red Hat only, right? So either you go for Jenkins right here. And do you see this here? These are all the commands are required in order to set up what? Jenkins. Either you can go with the official documentation and then install the Jenkins, or else you can follow my notepad. Powerful documentation, right? Okay, so what I'm doing it here, you know these commands very well. Sudo, what is this here? wget. Wget is for what purpose? To download it. What I'm downloading it here? HTTPS some jenkins.repo. I'm downloading it and I'm putting that into etc m.repos.t. So basically I'm telling, hey, Amazon Linux 2 operating system. So if you want to install Jenkins, use this repository to download the Jenkins. So we are mentioning here the repository details of Jenkins. And then sudo, what is this here? RPM. Remember RPM we have learned in Linux. So using this, we are importing some key. What are we importing? Key of whom? Jenkins. And then after that, once you have updated all these things, simply what do? Yum install Jenkins -y. So once you install Jenkins, by default it is in which state? Start or stop? Stop. What is the command to start? Systemctl start Jenkins.service. And what is this used for? Checking the status. And then here, if you stop and start the EC2 instance, Jenkins service will be stop state. If you auto start the Jenkins, what is? Remember check config. Check config Jenkins on. You didn't see check config. No. No. You have done user data in AWS? Huh? क्या है भाई मारो मुझे मारो हाँ देखो check config is there or not? So what is the meaning of? I wrote on the day here auto start HTTPD. Remember? So okay, fine, no problem. So here, what I'm doing here, auto start the check config HTTPD on. Okay, so after that, if you want to use the Jenkins, what we need to do? Put the public IP address and colon 8080 we need to do. Should we do this now? Ready? Let's do Jenkins installation. So let's log in first. Right, and then okay. What's the landing command? Sudo hyphen yes. Okay. So what we do now? First, what are the things that we need to install? Yum install Git, Java, and then Maven. Say yum install Git, and then Java, and then Maven -y. Do you understand the reason behind installing Java? Sorry, reason behind installing Git in Maven? Because Jenkins will be doing the automatic builds using Maven. So for that, Maven installation should be there. And then Git also is required. Jenkins will be pulling the code from GitHub, right? For that reason, Git command, Git software also need to be there. Okay, done now. Next, what do? We need to get the repo or not? So take this and then okay, and then we need to import the key. Guys, here I'm doing it manually one by one. If I mix all this command and then give a name called Jenkins.sh file, can I run that in one shot or not? That is called automation. Install in Jenkins automation installation. We'll be doing that. And this Jenkins will not be one day today. It will be so many days. So every day we need to install Jenkins or not? Because I'll not be keeping my machine all the time running. So I'll be terminating today. And tomorrow when I come, what I do? First I need to set up the Jenkins to save the time. So do I need to run this manually one by one? So I have a script. So take that, put it, run the script, and it will be installed automatically. And I'll show you tomorrow on how to do that. Okay. And what we need to know finally, yum install Jenkins minus y. So now, why we need Jenkins repo? Jenkins repo meaning not the GitHub Jenkins repo we are talking about. It's like a software related repo, which is so our RPM, our package manager need to have repository in the backend in order to get fetch the data from in the backend repositories, right? So okay. So Jenkins installed. So I want to by default Jenkins stop start stata. So what's the command? System ctl start which one? Jenkins dot service. No. Komalarama. So guys, is it good to keep the machine all the time up and running? I don't recommend at all. What you do is set up this, do the work and terminate it. Because how many times that you launch and install Jenkins, that much perfection that you get it. You are here to learn, not like company. In company, we'll do it only for one time and then leave it. But it is not. It is free for you, right? Still, because 750 hours are there. No. Okay, Jenkins got started. What's the command to check the status? Komala, in real time. In real time, you need to set up only one time and then leave it. If you terminate it, you'll get fired. 100%. Because all the bills will be there inside it. If you terminate, it's gone. Okay. Don't even look back in the company. If you feel that you terminated the machine, you only pack the bags. You only self quit. Okay. Okay. What's the command here? Still status. Jenkins dot server. And what it says? Active and running. So our Jenkins installation is successful or not? And how to access this? How to access? Copy the IP address. Go here. Colon 80. Okay. So it came up and it says it is asking for what password? Admin. And it clearly says that password is in this place. What you do is we need to see this file. So copy this file and then what's the command to see the file? Cat and then paste it. Enter. Do you see the password? Copy the password. Put it here. Click on continue. Now customize Jenkins. So install suggested plugins. None of plugins. Plugins is here basically in Jenkins. Plugins will play a very major important role. By default, Jenkins doesn't know anything. Jenkins no AWS, Jenkins no Git, Jenkins no Maven, Jenkins no Nexus, Jenkins no SonarQube. If you want Jenkins to know this, you need to install related plugins. If you want to work on Maven plugin should be there. If you want to work on AWS plugins should be there. If you want to work on SonarQube plugins. Nexus, Tomcat plugins. For everything you should have a plugins. So here, install suggested plugins. The Jenkins will automatically install whatever the plugins. But if you want to select plugins only, you can select it. But what I do always go with the install suggested plugins. I click on it and then it will take 1 or 2 minutes here. So do you see? It is installing all these plugins. What is installing here? Git it is installing by default. It is installing builds related things. See? All these things it is installing by default. Is this clear how to set up Jenkins? Online, is this clear now? Yeah, Dinesh. What do we create in Jenkins? Jobs. What do we create in Jenkins? Jobs. So how do I check logs of Jenkins? There is a command in Linux, I told you. There is a command in Linux to check. Yeah, you Linux admin, right? So yes, we in real time also will be doing it. But Jenkins I'm setting up on EC2. Jenkins I'm setting up on EC2. But after that, this is monolithic. We'll be learning about microservices also. You can set up Jenkins in container. You can set up Jenkins in this, but the nasty things are not required. Container meaning dependencies will already installed there inside. So you will be just in Docker up Jenkins image will be there, pull it and run the container. Jenkins is ready. Do you see here? Now all the things. Okay. I don't know. Network is also fine. Audible? Can you hear me? Voice is clear? Okay. So here, once that is installed, you see create your first admin user. You can give any name. So I call it as here Riaz. Password, Riaz. Password, Riaz. 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 Given. So this is a user that you are creating. Which user is this? Admin user. That meaning you can do anything in Jenkins. But can we create users also in Jenkins? Can create. Like in our AWS account, IAM users are there, no? Similarly here, you create IAM user and give admin permissions, no? Similarly here also you're creating the user, Riaz user here, and that is the admin user. Like this, can we create another users and then give permissions accordingly in Jenkins? What kind of permission that you do in Jenkins? This guy can build the job or not? This guy can create the jobs or not? This guy can read the job or not? This guy can modify the job or not? This guy can run the job or not? All these related things we can do it. We call it as RBAC. We'll talk about it later. So now click on here, save and continue. And see here, instance configuration. So what is the Jenkins here? Is the Jenkins URL or not? So which IP address is this? EC2 instance, public IP. So click on save and finish and click on here, start Jenkins. Congratulations, Jenkins is ready. Yeah. And let me give a small tour on Jenkins. Jenkins, this is what here, dashboard. Always, what we do is here, we create a new item. New item meaning new job. Item meaning here, job. Build a history. How many jobs that we have done, all the history will come. And this is the Bhayanak one. So any kind of settings related to Jenkins, you need to click on here, manage settings. If you want to create a job, new item. If you want to create a job, new item. And in Jenkins also, guys, this is a tool. It contains so many options or not. Do you want to go and click for each and every option here? Whichever is required for us, we'll be doing it, right? So here also, but manage Jenkins is very, very important. So click on here, manage Jenkins. If you go to manage Jenkins, this is the, you can call it as administration tasks related to Jenkins. So system related information will be there. What is it here? Tools related. Okay, let's click on tools. So we already installed what? Maven. We already installed what? We already installed what? That is the reason why it is showing here. So by default, Jenkins already installed Gradle and then all these things. Whatever the installations that you have done, everything will come under which one here? Tools. Say that? Tools. So configure tools, their locations and automatic installers. We can install it from here also. We can install it from the machine also. And important thing here, what is on here? Plugins. So if you click on plugins, so do you see here? Available plugins, install plugins. If you click on install plugins, whatever the plugins that your machine already has, it will show. Let's say, if you click on available plugins, let's say, for example, I want to install a plugin called Maven. What do you need to type here? Maven. See, Maven integration. Right? And if you want to Sonar Cube, see, Sonar Cube scanner. So whatever the plugins that you want to install, you can install the plugins, AWS credentials. So these plugins also will play a major role in Jenkins because if you want to integrate with any other tool, definitely you need to install what? Plugins. Nodes, say that. How many Jenkins machines are there? Here at the moment, one. How many? One. And all the jobs will be running on the same machine or not? If I have 100 jobs, same machine only, but it will get loaded or not? So for that reason, what we can do is we can have multiple nodes. And this guy will call it as master node, and those are called slave nodes. What's that? So what will happen is here, we have a master slave concept. What is that? Master slave meaning, master server meaning the main guy. Slave meaning nodes. That meaning you can tell to the master that, hey, jobs, you can run on master also, you can run it on any slaves also. So the load is distributed or not? I'll be teaching you master slave concept also in Jenkins. Okay. And then cloud instances. Are we doing any cloud instances here? Provisioning cloud instances? No. So, and here what is related to security? And this is also very important thing that we do here. So what is here? Credentials. So let's say Tomcat if you install, in order to log into Tomcat, there is credentials or not? In order to log into the Sonar Cube, credentials should be there or not? And Jenkins need to automatically need to log into those things or not? So for that reason, all the credentials will be creating inside this credentials. I told you user creations, we can create users or not? Users in Jenkins, which is the user that I have logged in here. So can you create multiple users here? Right, system logs. And also important thing here is system. Any kind of environment variables. Remember environment variables? In Linux we have learned environment variables. Global variable, local variables. Right? So here system, you can create a variable that is used by the entire Jenkins also. Let's say course is equal to DevOps. In Jenkins pipeline, I'll write course is equal to DevOps. But the course is equal to DevOps. Course is what here? Variable. DevOps is a value. Understood? Course is a variable, DevOps is a value. If I put these two things in my pipeline, course is equal to DevOps meaning only pipeline will understand. Other pipelines will understand. If I want this variable to set it across entire Jenkins, then I'll go to system here and then set up all those variables. This red color, read it. You are running Jenkins on Amazon Linux 2. So Jenkins stopped supporting Amazon Linux 2. So here, as of this, but today is 2025, still working. Okay, no problem. Okay, clear enough? Don't worry about setting up agents and everything will be learning. And what we have build executor. I told you, this machine itself is a build executor. Who will execute the builds? Jenkins only. This guy itself. But can we create multiple executors here? Yes. Node executors nothing but multiple nodes. Okay. So what I want you to do is today is what go through the pains that I have told you we have discussed, and then what you need to do? Install Jenkins and have a tour of Jenkins. Mainly manage Jenkins. What are there in systems, tools, read it, systems, tools, plugins, nodes, credentials, users. Only this thing will be using it. Please go through this so that it will be easy for you while doing the practicals. And account appearances, preferences, all normal things, right? Logout and agents you didn't set up. This is fine. Jenkins. Simple and cute. Will you able to do this today? As I told you, if you want to continue the next tomorrow's class continuation, you need to finish the 2 days practicals. If you do like this, it will be easy for you. Because assume that tomorrow I'll be creating jobs here, and then I'll be giving some more tasks to you. But you have not installed the Jenkins at all yet. If you don't have the practice of installing Jenkins, do you know the concepts? For that reason, you tell me how much will it take time for the today's task. 20 minutes. So don't tell me that you don't have 20 minutes time. Okay? You're all my second time students, right? So I will be very careful on you. So I will ensure that you have learned, you have done the practicals. Okay? And also I'll be sharing the Git interview questions also. Let me prepare first of all. I already have it somewhere and I'll upload in the Google Classroom. And in the Git also, please, the differences are important. Merge, rebase. Imagine we have done all these things. Remember? Right? Merge, pull, push, fetch, the difference between all these things. Guys, if you go in Google and put Git. Right. So can we also change the port number of Jenkins 8081? Yes, you can change it. Jenkins has a configuration file, right? And then Jenkins has configurations file, Rajesh, and then you can change that. If you don't want to have it on 8081, 8080, change it. Put it to 80 also, it will have no issues. But Jenkins will be used by your customer or you are. Right? We, not customer. For that reason, port 80 also fine, 8080 also fine, 143 is also fine. Okay. On same EC2 instance, you tell me, is it good to have application and Jenkins both on the same machine? Answer is not good at all. You can with it, so you can see the path here, no? So where the Java is installed and where the Maven is installed, you can see the path. Okay, so will you able to complete this? So I already moved 3 minutes. So please complete this. In AWS load balancer API, that's why it's very, very, what do you call? You need to give more details. Yes, more details. Okay, take the screenshots. Okay, and the last. Okay, I got an info. No one is teaching Maven, but you have to have got first. Thank you. Okay, so we did you understand? So if you want to, I'll upload the comments. If you want to see the Maven, so you just put use which remember which we have learned in Linux to see the executable where executes, right? Okay, Dinesh, who is that? With it. So whichever that you want to see. So mostly it is in bin Maven. Okay, with it. Okay. Okay, I'll upload that in the Google Classroom. So yeah, it can be USR bin also, where it's up to you where you want to install the executable. So yeah, can you get the final CC for today, please?